Hey, Gita. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you joining us today, thank you so much for joining this week's educational webinar. We have Gita here. She is the Director of Education for the Travel Institute, and she's going to talk to us more about the importance of education as an advisor and how that education potentially can lead to more sales and more success in the industry. So, Gita, I will pass it over to you. Thank you for joining us today.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me, Kyle. And thank you everyone for taking the time to be here or to listen if you're listening to this later on as a recording. You know, education is not a sexy topic. I get it. I wish I was a supplier with fun destinations to show you. But instead, I'm giving you what I call the gift that keeps on giving. So today I'm going to talk about you as an individual, as a professional in our industry, and your ability to go out there and get the education you need so that you can continue to succeed. There are plenty of areas everywhere that you can look at for education. I know the Travel Institute has education, ASTA has education, CLIA has education, your host agency, your consortia, obviously your suppliers. So you have a lot that you need to look at for education. So it's important that you always look at the quality of all of those training programs to make sure that you are getting what is right for you that's going to stay with you for the long term. For those of you who are new to the Travel Institute, may not be familiar with us, we have been around since 1964. And since 1964, actually as an offshoot of ASTA, we were created as a nonprofit organization since 1964. So that we only focused on the education of travel professionals. So since then, since 1964, we have had one mission and one goal. And that mission is to continue to bring you all the travel advisor, the travel professional, quality education at all levels of your career. And the second goal to go with that is to raise the level of professionalism in our industry through certification. Now, we work in an industry that is amazing, okay? We could be a dentist. So we work in a fun industry. However, we don't have any barriers to stop individuals from coming in, right? And that's a pro and a con. The pro to that is that there are no barriers. You can start tomorrow and you can say, I'm a travel agent, and off you go, right? So we make it super easy for individuals to come into the industry. The con to that is exactly that. Anybody can be a travel agent. So since 1964, that has still been the same issue. And that is why the Travel Institute was created, to be that pinnacle, that organization in the industry that raises the standards, that elevates your professionalism, that helps you gain the knowledge you need so that you can stand up, so that you can stand apart from the rest. So today, I'm going to talk to you about the three certifications from the Travel Institute: the CTA, the CTC, and the CTIE. The CTA program is dedicated to those of you who are in the front line selling travel every day, committed to planning and arranging travel. The CTC has been around since 1964. It is the oldest and most recognized certification in the industry. This program, however, has always been a management program and continues to do so this year and today. And then we have the CTIE, the Certified Travel Industry Executive. And this certification in particular are for those of you who are looking to expand your leadership. If you are an office manager, an owner of an agency, and you are growing and you are looking at different skill sets that you need to grow your organization. So we're going to take a look at each one of these. And then, of course, very importantly, this year, we are once again, for the 10th year in a row, offering the 50% scholarships through the Travel Institute Fund. Now, as a nonprofit organization, the beauty of the Travel Institute is that we are not funded by not one or more than one organization. We don't have suppliers that gives us funds. We don't have consortia or host agencies that give us funds. We are fully supported. So any piece of registrations that come in for any one of our programs has to go, a portion of it has to go into our fund so that we pay it forward. Those are the bylaws in there. So in July, this is the 10th year now that we are able to offer 50% scholarships. And I can tell you all that we opened up on June 26th, and we have well over 900 scholarships already. So if you are here and you're listening to me and certification is something that you have been thinking about, and after this presentation, you say, you know what, this is something I want to do, then I highly encourage you to apply right away. And more importantly, I highly encourage you to keep looking for your email from us with a yay or a nay. And then if it is a yay, you got to move on those quick because there are so many people on the wait list. So let's get started with the different programs here. Now, as I start off with these programs, you should be asking yourself, what's in it for me? What does this program give me? And what I want you to do is that as I go through these programs, I want you to, because not every single one of them is going to apply to you. So I want you to think to yourself, what skills do I need to improve on? Now, this is a question that only you can ask yourself. And if you have a pen and paper, go ahead and write the question down. What skills do I need to improve? And start writing them down. What skills do you need to improve? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it planning itineraries? Is it dealing with conflict? Is it leading change or managing through change? Is it understanding people's personalities? Is it communication? Is it business writing? Is it presentation skills? Is it accounting? What skills do you need? Now, I'm really talking about skills, not product training. Product training is not a skill. It's a product that you learn, right? So very different. I'm talking about skills, and only you can analyze that for yourself and assess your own areas. So as I go through these programs and I cover some of these skills, I really want you to think it through and then figure out which program is right for you. We're going to start with the CTA. The CTA is designed for those of you in the front line, selling travel, planning travel for everyone. Now, this program was just launched, the 10th edition, this past, actually a year ago. We offered the 10th edition. So in that 10th edition, we have a new curriculum. That curriculum is all online. It's right here on the My Courses, it's all online. And in that curriculum, you have the following topics. Business ethics, okay? I know that some of you might say, oh, that is kind of dull and boring. No, it's not. Not in today's industry when we have a record amount of individuals joining our industry. Business writing. I don't know about you, but when I started in the industry 24 years ago, I did not do half the writing that you do today. You have a ton of writing that you do, and it is imperative that writing is clear, it's concise, and it's got factual information. Customer service. This continues to be a customer service industry. Really understanding what does customer service mean, how to provide customer service, etc. Customer focused selling, right? So this here focuses truly on understanding the sales cycle, understanding how to qualify the client. The amount of information inside of these modules, very practical. There's solid tips that we give, and we work with so many industry professionals from new to the industry all the way to veterans in the industry, and in some cases retired veterans of the industry, to really give us the best information we could. The art of listening and communicating. I have to tell you, if you are not a good communicator, you're not going to sell very much, and you're certainly not going to be able to provide good customer service. So truly understanding the art of listening, communicating, speaking, verbal or nonverbal, is critical to your success. Marketing and promoting your business, absolutely an important topic in today's world, especially if you are in an independent contractor side, or if you are running a business. How do you target your audience? What is your audience? Understanding the 7 P's of marketing. It's no longer the 4 P's of marketing, it's the 7. The power of branding, how to create a brand. I have to tell you, once you're done with this module, you will get a marketing plan laid out, if that is something that you're looking to do. Time management, of course, always a good topic to cover. Understanding customer needs, really deep diving into customer needs. And then we go into practical skills, things like accepting and processing, planning itineraries, selling all-inclusives, selling escorted vacations, selling special interest. It's not just, oh, I think I'm going to sell Disney tomorrow. It's you have to have a plan. You have to have a SWOT analysis. You have to have a marketing plan, a business plan, geography and touring the world, and of course, the very important travel insurance. All of these topics together, these 15 areas of study, is the curriculum that makes up the CTA. Now, this CTA, you can expect anywhere between 60 to 80 hours of learning. You have 12 months to complete it in. And like I said, each one of these topics is filled, dripping with ideas, tips, great advice from your colleagues in the industry, things that you can put into action the very next phone call you get, the very next email you write. Really, very powerful information. Once you complete this training, right, all online again, you go ahead and you take your final exam with the CTA. Now, if you are asking yourself, what's in it for me, or what skills will I get? Well, if you lack any marketing skills, any sales skills, any writing skills, any communication skills, even any planning itineraries or touring the world, destination geography knowledge, this is the program that you want to go for. Now, if you say, all right, Gita, will I actually sell more? Yes. The answer is yes. And in fact, we did a survey a few years back, and it continues to be true today, that those who have their CTA, CTC, or CTIE continuously sell more than those that do not. I apologize. The phones are just ringing like crazy today. They absolutely sell more than those that do not. So if you are thinking to yourself, geez, if I paid this tuition, will I get the money back? Yeah, you will. In fact, let me share with you an example that I actually just heard about 2 or 3 days ago, and it's so amazing. There was this one student that went through the CTA program. Travel insurance is something that she was familiar with, but uncomfortable, presenting to the client. And after she took the CTA program, she really honed in on travel insurance, and she gained the confidence to have these conversations with the client, to present it to the client a little bit better. Fast forward to about 3 months later, and she increased her travel insurance, about 28%. You take that, you times it by the high amount of commission paid on travel insurance, and her sales, her revenue, not just her sales, but her revenue is absolutely through the roof in just 3 months. And all because she gained the confidence for this. So will it help you sell more? Yes, it will. If this is something that's, do clients care that I have the CTA? Let me ask you, will you care? Will you care if the plumber that you hire is certified? Will you care if the accountant you go to has their CPA? Do you care that the person that is cutting your hair has the right education in hairstyling? If your answer to any of these is yes, then I can tell you that the client is going to care. But it is up to you to make sure that you carry that brand. Because see, once you start with the certification and you earn it, now it becomes part of who you are. And it was, in fact, I was talking to Kyle, and when before the session started, and the first thing I did, and I'm so used to doing, is when I log into these platforms, they always drop off. My name is not always the right way, and they always drop off my certification. And the first thing I did was I added my certification to it, because that's who I am. Gita Botello CTIE. I was Gita Botello CTA for years. So that becomes part of your brand. These certifications distinguish you apart, okay? How do you study? You study everything online. You have 12 months to complete it in. There are requirements. You need to have at least 12 months of industry experience, or you must have passed the TAP exam. You just need a 70 to pass the CTA, and we are not a membership organization. What that means is that we don't ask you to pay a fee in order to maintain your certification. So rather, we focus on your continuing education. We ask you to maintain your education. So whether you go to an ASTA session, or if you do a supplier training, or you attend one of your host agencies annual meetings, etc., often those things are approved by the Travel Institute to give you that continuing education. So that's the CTA program. The CTC program. The CTC is designed for those of you who are in a management position. You are leading a team, or rather you are a manager of an office, you're an owner of an agency. The program, let me jump down to the criteria though, to the requirements, because in order to be a CTC, you need to have at least 5 years of travel industry experience, and you need to be able to complete the CTA exam. So the CTA is a prerequisite to the CTC, and you need to have 5 years of travel industry experience. Now, let's go to the curriculum, because the curriculum for the CTC is drastically different than the CTA. So remember, the CTC is a management program. It always has been, and it will continue to be. So the topics that we are covering are things like coaching and mentoring. Once you are an owner of an agency, you are a supervisor of an office, coaching is going to become your second name. Mentoring becomes a new skill that you need. Conflict management, I always joke, whether it's employees or children, that they seem to apply to both. Creativity, DISC personality styles. I don't know if you have ever taken DISC training, but it is very expensive to take DISC training. But it's also very important that you do it so that you fully understand the personalities so you can adapt to those. It's also very powerful for sales. Emotional intelligence, right? Understanding who you are, understanding your own, what makes you tick, so that you can develop effective relationships. Negotiating, whether you're negotiating a contract with a supplier, a host agency, or an employee. Presentation skills. Again, this is all part of the management skills you need. Accounting. I feel like we all got a crash course on accounting over the past 2 years. That being said, don't let that go now. Make sure that you understand the accounting to run your business effectively. Project management. Project management is not just about doing things in a certain order. It's not about being organized. Project management has a lot to do with communication, timelines, being able to lead a project to fruition. Team building. I mean, you're the manager of an office. You're the owner of an agency. Your job is to build a team. So how do you develop that? How do you develop the team that's going to be the most successful, right? That's what the CTC is about. The CTC is also all online. Each student has 12 months as well to complete the courses. The CTC, you are looking a little bit less, so probably 20 or so hours of training involved in it. Once you complete all of your materials, you do have your CTC test that you have to pass, but then you also have to put in, submit a white paper. That is a paper, a research paper that you write, about 2,000 to 3,000 words, that you write about a topic that you're currently studying, or a topic in the travel industry in specific. Just like the CTA, we do not charge you a fee in order to maintain your certification. Rather, we want you to focus on gaining 10 continuing education units every year. The CTIE, the Certified Travel Industry Executive Program. This program is a little bit younger than the CTA or CTC. It is only about 15 years old, maybe closer to 18 years now. And the CTIE does overlap quite a bit with the CTC. There are things like coaching and creativity, negotiating and emotional intelligence. Those are all things, and team building as well. Those are all topics that are covered in both programs, the CTC and CTIE, because that's part of that management, right? But then we really hone in on your leadership skills. So if you are thinking about, oh, geez, what skills do I need? If you are looking at being a leader of an organization, if you're looking to lead your agency, the CTIE is really what you want to look at. So things like becoming an excellent leader really is a powerful session. There are several videos in this, very, very powerful, very, very well done, with lots of great tips and ideas that you can put to work right away. DISC leading styles. I'm going to speak from my own experience with this. I have several team members, one of which I just couldn't seem to connect with, and I wasn't getting the most out of this person, and I could tell this person was getting frustrated with the position and with me. And after I took this course, and in particular, this topic, this series, it's like a light bulb went off, and I adjusted my style. I understood their style, and then I adjusted my style so that I could lead theirs. And I'll tell you right now, I'm very happy to say this person is flourishing now. And it was not them, it was me. It was I needed to develop the skill set in order to lead that personality. And so this program truly is very well designed for those of you who are looking for that skill set, to develop that skill set for yourself. So if you are here and you are thinking, I'm going to add on more independent contractors or more employees, I'm going to open up another office, I need to manage my office better, the CTIE program is what you're looking for. Now, the CTIE program, in the criteria, you do not need to have a CTA or a CTC, but you do need 5 years of travel industry experience. That is a requirement. So make sure that you have that before you apply. And of course, you must pass your CTIE exam and then submit a white paper. Like the CTC, CTA, you need to maintain your 10 CUs every year. The total time involved in this program, probably about 20 or so hours as well, just like the CTC. So there were the 3 certifications, the CTA, the CTC, and the CTIE. The tuition for all of these are $550. Okay, that's what it costs to enroll. It includes all the materials, all the testing fees, all the certification fees, etc. During the month of July, if you go to the travelinstitute.com/PYP, just right here, and you can read a little bit more about each certification if you'd like. There's beautiful quotes that we can give you in there as well. Of course, Vicky Fried, who's passionate about her own criteria. There is also our survey that really truly shows that those of you who are certified sell more and earn more. But then right there at the top, you can apply for your scholarship. And I highly recommend you do if this is something that you would like to invest in yourself. So as I started this session, and I said, you should be asking, what's in it for me? Write down the skills that you need to improve in. Often I get the question, which one should I do, Gita? Which program should I go for? I can't answer that question. Only you can. You're the one that knows where you excel and where you need to improve. The programs are designed to fit the different levels of education. Often I also get, wait a second, if I have 20 some years of industry experience, should I just do the CTC? No, it doesn't matter what years. It matters what skills you need to develop, having access to quality education. So when you are looking at programs for you to sign up for you to do, you always should be looking at the quality. When was the last time these materials were updated? When was the last time that the program was revised? How often is information getting renewed and pushed out to you? And at the Travel Institute, I can tell you this is all we do. I feel like that is all I do is update, update, update. We're constantly updating our content. We're constantly gaining new information, learning. I'm always learning from new sources. And then when I learn something, I go, we need to pass that on. We need to pass that on. That's our job at the Travel Institute, just to pass on the knowledge that we gather in the industry on to you. So Kyle, that is overall the Travel Institute. Like I said, this is not a sexy, sandals presentation or, Iberostar presentation, but it certainly is that gift that keeps on giving.
Gita, thank you so much. And for those of you who joined us today, I do want to share about my personal experience with the Travel Institute. So I returned to the industry in 2019, and previously I'd worked for American Airlines. I had a management role there. I'd been through, kind of their management training programs. I did some luxury travel. And, I was on the fence about, should I jump to the CTC or should I start to the CTA, because I had the equivalent amount of experience to qualify for the CTC. And I said, you know what? I'm back in the industry. So much has changed. I'm just going to start from the beginning. And it was absolutely pivotal for me to have that baseline, which I thought I had originally, but realized that, so much had changed and there were so many different practices and very different, methodologies that just weren't available. When I'd gone through management training classes, when I'd done my college courses and, between 2003 and 2007. And so, it was just a really great start to the be returning back to the industry. Another thing I want to speak to about the curriculum and the Travel Institute is the confidence that you build when you are a certified advisor. I have the certificate hanging above my desk and like everyone sees it. And when they're sitting at my desk, it's stacked right above my certificate for the luxury specialist with Travel Leaders Network. So, people see on my wall that I've, invested in education and I have these certifications. And I think that speaks highly to when, especially if a first time client walks in the door, they know they're just not talking to, anyone. They're talking to someone who is certified and who have the credentials, who have all of the knowledge. And then when I always use Egypt as an example, because I know nothing about Egypt, but during the coursework, Gita and the Travel Institute lay out like your standard Egypt itinerary. They talk about the Golden Road in Europe. They do all this stuff. And so that gives you even that core baseline for destinations that you're not familiar with to be able to, even speak confident to that and be like, oh, well, your standard Egypt itinerary is this. And I'm frantically flipping through my book to get the details. But, it's all there. And when I returned to the industry, I thought that it was all about the selling. It was all about the supplier knowledge. Huge part of it, huge part of
Sure,
it.
sure.
But the business part of it is, especially after the pandemic, has come to be more pivotal and a much more desirable skill set
Mhm.
than just your typical supplier knowledge. And it has come back time and time again to be able. I've referred back to my coursework with the Travel Institute on the business and professional side,
Mhm.
and less on the geography and selling all-inclusive resorts and all that stuff. All very good information, but I
Mhm.
find myself referencing the business part of the educational programs more so than the kind of geography, selling all-inclusive,
Yeah.
and those modules.
Mhm.
So
I
I
get
think
that.
that's, I so value my certification, and I think and I'm a huge advocate for education in the industry. I feel that professionalism is something that needs to be improved with advisors globally.
Mhm.
And this is one way to do it. This is one way to set yourself apart from the rest. So I just wanted to share that experience. For any of the attendees who decided to join us, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask Geeta about the program or about the certifications in general? Feel free to pop it into the Q&A box down below, and we'll be happy to answer them.
Mhm.
Geeta, I also want to talk to you briefly about some of your specialization programs. So I don't think
Mhm.
people realize the robust offerings that the Travel Institute has.
Yes.
As someone who has completed the luxury training as a
Mhm.
requirement for the Travel Leaders Luxury Specialist program,
Mhm.
I purchased Hawaii when it went on sale during the pandemic because everyone was
Mhm.
going to Hawaii.
Yes, yes.
And then North America. So, I
Yeah,
know you all have a very robust North America offer that
yeah.
goes state by state, and it tells you
Yes.
everything that you need to know, what's there,
It is
how to
very
get there.
robust.
It is very robust. I got hand cramps trying to
Yeah. Oh,
make all the notes, but
I have
when I
headaches
when
writing.
when you talk about I'll use Maine as an example.
Mhm.
So, we're down in Florida, so, everyone retreats up to the Northeast for the summer, and Maine is always extremely popular,
Yes.
Kennebunkport, Bar Harbor, Portland,
Mhm.
and all that stuff. And I'm constantly referring to the notes from the North America product, specifically
Mhm.
about Maine all the time.
All the time. That's
It's so
funny.
helpful. It's so helpful. But anyway, if you could talk more about some of these
Yeah.
specializations, I think those are really important.
Well, I'll mention both. So we have specialist courses and destinations, and we have niche market courses. So let me just take a look at the destination ones here. Each one of these is $89, and then there's a $50 testing fee. You can use these just as knowledge. You can become an expert in it and take the test so that you earn that designation. You can add it to your profiles, to your signature lines. We have Alaska. Alaskan is an amazing course. I know that the Alaska Tourist Board actually used to have a nice program. They've kind of let it lapse, to be honest with you. So we are seeing our Alaska course really enrollments really develop. If you're selling Alaska, I highly recommend it. This goes into the state. So North America is all the states, so it's a little bit of everything. The Alaska is just focused on Alaska and all parts of it, every city we cover. Caribbean, I always joke around because we have a textbook, a college level textbook bookstore that is touring the world. And there's a chapter on the Caribbean. Well, this is an entire book on every single island on the Caribbean. It's very in-depth. Then we have Central Europe, Hawaii, Italy, Mexico, North America, which we were just talking about. This puppy is big, Northern Europe, and of course, Southern Europe. The three Europe ones are all new as of a year ago. No, it was more recent than that. I feel like it's maybe six or 8 months ago. All of the three Europes have been released. We're probably getting ready to update them in 2024, 2025. Alaska's also, we're going to start working on updating that as well. We're constantly updating our content here at the Travel Institute. We then also have niche market courses, which Kyle mentioned. And Kyle said that he has his luxury course through Travel Leaders Network. And actually, the Travel Leaders Network program encompasses the luxury course from the Travel Institute. It is part of their curriculum. So we have golf, which is unique and not well known as much, but somebody actually just recently came to us and said, oh my gosh, I'm a huge golfer. I've decided to tap into, and they're a travel professional. They've been a travel professional for a while, huge golf person. And they said, really started to develop that, but I didn't know where to start. I love to golf. I know the different golf clubs and so forth, but I didn't know how to develop that specialty. They said after we took this program, we were amazed, and I now have a solid plan on how to actually focus my niche on golfing. Honeymoons, this program is also just a year and a half old now. The last update of that was a year and a half old. Luxury, this is 3 months old now, brand new luxury course, fantastic filled with advice, tips, and ideas. And then of course, also the latest one with wellness, just about 2 months old or less, maybe a month and a half, on wellness. We just debuted it in May, at the end of May. So also another amazing course there. We're constantly adding to this. I have probably another 2 topics on the deck now that we're working for and looking to add. We're constantly doing it. We can add, you can take these individually on their own, right? Like I said, $89 each one and off you go. Or you can subscribe to our premium access. And it does say membership. Like I said, we're not a membership organization in the sense that you need to pay a membership for your certification, but we do have a premium library, and that library is a subscription. So in that library here, you have access to all of these courses, plus hundreds of webinars that we do with industry experts and educators on everything from sales, marketing, destination training, business planning. I mean, you name it, we have it in there. And that's $199 a year. So you can either buy one book for $89 plus the ship, plus the testing, or you can do $199 and you have access to the whole caboodle. So it's a nice, easy way to get access to this education.
Oh, that's wonderful, Geeta. I had forgotten about the all access pass. And when you really think about it, if it's $89 plus 50, that's $139. You might as well just buy the year. I also wanted to, I still follow the CTA Facebook group. And so it was a beneficial training tool for me to be able to see that other people were accomplishing things, and it gave you a level of accountability, and you realize that you don't have you have the same questions as everyone else, and that you're not alone. I think one of the things in our industry now that everyone's working from home is that there is a sense of isolation. Yeah. And you're plugging away in a 10-foot by 10-foot room, staring at a computer screen, emailing, talking on the phone occasionally, participating in these webinars, but there's still, you still feel, kind of that you're just on your own. And so your CTA Facebook group that you encourage all of the the
Candidate.
advisors that
Mhm.
are the candidates to receive that certification really helped because it shared a lot of tools and interesting anecdotes, and you guys are posting regularly. Other graduates are posting about their successes. Everyone's posting their scores, and so
Mhm.
it's a motivator.
It
And
is.
when I took on the course, I, was gung ho. And then, life got in the way, work got in the way. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you're like 5 months into it and you've done one module and you're like, oh my gosh, like I have so much to do or so much to do. And those Facebook pages really helped kind of keep me on track. I'm not going to lie, I did sneak in like a week before my expiration date on my testing, but it's nice to have that camaraderie that you guys have created. And for those that are interested in seeking the certification, and are hesitant or nervous, there's no reason to be. There's so much support out there. There's so much assistance from the Travel Institute and from your peers that you
Mhm.
shouldn't be hesitating at all. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have. It's a great thing to be part of. You create a community that way with other people who are in your exact same situation. And I think that's just
Mhm.
so important now.
I'm glad you brought that up because I forget sometimes about that CTA because I'm in there all the time. So when you do something so often, you kind of forget. But what you just said, the community that you build and your questions are the same questions as everybody else. I think it was last week somebody posted um, something about the essays on their test, right? They were about to take their test and they're like, I'm so scared about the essays. And three people, not one, not two, three different people all answered pretty much verbatim what I would have answered, right? The words I think were the same exact words, the same sentence structure. And I said, that's it, you're all hired because that's what I would have said. And I just love the support that they provided, the willingness. This is, some people might look at that and go, oh, that's a competitor of mine. Not when you're in that group. When you're in that group, you're all one. You are studying to be in the CTA program. You all have test anxiety. You all are trying to do your best. You're all trying to be the best in the industry. And when we all do that as an industry, we all support each other so well that we make you stronger, I'm stronger, your other neighbor stronger. It is, there's so much that goes on in that group. It is really a great community. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and I'm a huge advocate for the industry as a unified front. We are all
Mhm.
collaborators. We're not competitors.
That's
There's
right.
enough business to go around. People can be so protective of their businesses, as they should be. They've worked
Yeah,
very,
sure.
very hard in
Yeah.
order to grow them. But understand that we're all in it for the greater good. We're all in it to help our clients travel better. We are all in it to be good business people. And when you can combine these valuable educational modules and certifications and be able to have conversations and camaraderie with your colleagues out in the industry, I just think it's a beautiful
Mm.
match. I think that's
Yes.
kind of where we all need to be headed, because there's so much potential out there. And don't be so isolated and protective. Branch out, try something new, get an additional certification, meet people who are also in that same program, and you guys can share information, study habits, things like that. So
Mhm.
don't be
Mhm.
fearful. It's a daunting curriculum on its face, but when you break it
Yeah.
apart, one module a month and then a month to review, or a couple modules a week, or if you're really ambitious. But it's 1 year, it's self-paced. You should not be intimidated by it. You can get it all done with time to spare.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt. No
So.
doubt.
Well, great, Gita. Well, I don't see any questions in the Q&A box, so we'll go ahead and finish up here. Thank you for taking the time today and sharing with us all about the Travel Institute and the certifications that are available to advisors. I know a lot of people don't realize that there can be such robust educational and professional development opportunities for advisors, because we're
Yes.
all seeing the supplier side.
Yes.
But this is, I feel, equally, if not more important than knowing the room category categories on a Royal Caribbean ship, or understanding, the amenities at an all-inclusive. I think this is, although great for selling, this is the education you need to run a successful business and be profitable. So thank you again for taking the time. Thank you for all who joined us. Next week's webinar, next Tuesday, will be a state of the airport address from my friend Darren at the Orlando International Airport. He's going to be talking about new routes, new services, the new Terminal C, and some other exciting updates coming out of MCO. So we hope to see you there. That will be next Tuesday, which is going to be July 18th from 2 to 3. So we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Geeta, for your time today.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kyle.
Bye-bye.
Bye.